Richard Thomas was born Richard Earl Thomas on June 13th, 1951, in New York City, into a world where creativity was not encouraged but lived every day. His parents, Barbara and Richard S. Thomas, were professional dancers with the New York City Ballet and founders of the New York School of Ballet, meaning discipline, artistry, and emotional expression were part of his daily environment. From an early age, Thomas absorbed classical music, movement, and storytelling almost by osmosis, watching artists train, struggle, and perfect their craft. Unlike many child actors pushed into fame, Richard's upbringing grounded him in respect for the work itself. This foundation shaped not only his technical skill, but also his temperament. He learned early that performance was not about attention, but about truth. That belief would quietly guide his entire career, especially during moments when fame arrived faster than he expected. Early stardom and a natural gift for storytelling. Richard Thomas began acting professionally as a child in the early 1960s, appearing in television soap operas such as A Flame in the Wind and The Edge of Night. Even at a young age, casting directors noticed something different about him, a calm intelligence and emotional openness that felt authentic rather than rehearsed. At just 7 years old, he made his Broadway debut in Sunrise at Campobello, sharing the stage with seasoned performers without being overshadowed. Film roles followed, including winning in 1969 alongside Paul Newman, where Thomas held his own, with quiet confidence. These early experiences weren't just career milestones, they were lessons in professionalism, humility, and emotional discipline. By the time he was cast in The Homecoming, the pilot that would become The Waltons, Thomas already possessed the maturity of someone far beyond his years, becoming John Boy and a cultural touchstone. When The Waltons premiered in 1972, Richard Thomas became a household name almost overnight. His portrayal of John Boy Walton, thoughtful, idealistic, and morally centered, resonated deeply with audiences living through uncertain times. The character embodied decency, empathy, and hope, qualities that felt grounding during an era of social change. Thomas's performance earned him an Emmy Award in 1973, along with additional nominations that confirmed his status as a serious actor, not just a teen idol. Yet what made John Boy unforgettable was not sentimentality, but sincerity. Thomas brought introspection to the role, allowing moments of doubt, curiosity, and quiet resilience to shape the character. Even after leaving the series in 1977 to pursue broader opportunities, Thomas remained forever linked to John Boy, a role that reflected not just talent, but character. A career defined by range and integrity. After The Waltons, Richard Thomas deliberately avoided being boxed into one identity. He took on challenging roles in television films and miniseries, such as All Quiet on the Western Front, where his portrayal of a young soldier captured vulnerability and disillusionment with haunting restraint. Later, his performance as adult Bill Denbrough in Stephen King's It revealed a darker, more complex emotional range. On stage, Thomas flourished, tackling demanding classical roles including Hamlet, Richard II, and The Crucible. Theater became a place where he could stretch, fail, grow, and reconnect with the raw essence of storytelling. Throughout these decades, colleagues consistently described him as disciplined, kind, and deeply prepared. In an industry known for excess, Richard Thomas built a reputation grounded in consistency, curiosity, and respect for the craft. Family, fatherhood, and personal balance. Despite early fame, Richard Thomas always placed family at the center of his life. He married dancer Alma Gonzalez in 1975, and together they welcomed their first son the following year. The arrival of triplet daughters in 1981 transformed their household overnight, bringing joy, chaos, and responsibility in equal measure. Thomas often spoke about how fatherhood grounded him, reminding him what truly mattered beyond applause and recognition. Although his marriage eventually ended in 1993, he remained deeply committed to co-parenting with care and respect. In 1994, he found lasting love with art dealer Georgiana Bischoff, building a blended family that reflected patience and mutual support. For Thomas, success was never defined solely by roles or awards, but by presence, stability, and showing up fully for the people he loved. Reinvention in modern television and theater. As he entered later stages of his career, Richard Thomas continued to evolve rather than retreat. Appearances in series like The Americans, Billions, Ozark, and Tell Me Your Secrets demonstrated his ability to bring gravitas to complex, morally layered characters. His portrayal of Nathan Davis in Ozark was particularly striking, exposing the quiet menace and emotional rigidity of a deeply religious patriarch. On stage, his turn as Atticus Finch in the national tour of To Kill a Mockingbird earned widespread praise for its moral clarity and emotional restraint. Thomas didn't imitate past portrayals. He re-examined the character through lived experience. These roles introduced him to new generations, while reaffirming what longtime fans already knew, that his strength lies in honesty, not spectacle. A voice that continues to tell stories beyond screen and stage, Richard Thomas found a powerful new outlet in audiobook narration. By 2023, he had narrated over 340 audiobooks, an extraordinary achievement that highlighted his vocal precision and emotional sensitivity. Listeners praised his ability to inhabit characters without overstatement, allowing stories to breathe naturally. This work reflected his lifelong love of language and storytelling, connecting back to John Boy's dream of becoming a writer. Narration allowed Thomas to slow down, listen deeply, and honor the written word. It also revealed something essential about his artistry, that he values intimacy over performance and connection over attention. In many ways, this chapter of his career feels like a full circle, returning to the quiet power of voice, imagination, and shared human experience. Ellen Corby, more than a co-star. Now in his 70s, Richard Thomas has spoken more openly about one of the most influential relationships of his early career, his bond with Ellen Corby, who portrayed Grandma Esther Walton. To the public, Corby was the warm, steadfast matriarch of the Walton family. Behind the scenes, she was something more, a mentor, protector, and quiet guide for the young cast. Thomas has shared that Corby treated him not as a child star, but as a serious actor in the making. She held high standards, offered precise encouragement, and modeled professionalism without ego. Her approval, he said, mattered deeply. For years, Thomas minimized her influence out of humility, but with time and perspective, he now recognizes that her guidance shaped not only his performances, but his understanding of dignity, discipline, and respect. Lessons in courage and quiet strength. One of the most personal truths Richard Thomas has shared involves Ellen Corby's real-life stroke in 1976. Watching someone so articulate and commanding face physical limitations left a profound impact on him. Thomas often visited Corby during her recovery, reading to her and offering companionship rather than pity. What struck him most was her determination to return to the Waltons, not for sympathy, but for purpose. She demanded dignity, not indulgence. Her resilience redefined courage in Thomas's eyes, teaching him that strength doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers, shows up, and keeps going. Corby's return to the show, even in a reduced capacity, demonstrated a devotion to craft and identity that Thomas carried with him throughout his career. It was a lesson that never faded, a legacy of gratitude and truth. Reflecting now, Richard Thomas speaks of Ellen Corby with clarity, gratitude, and love. He admits that it took decades to fully articulate what she meant to him, both as an actor and as a person. Her quiet wisdom, her unwavering standards, and her compassion shaped the atmosphere of the Waltons and the people within it. Today, when Thomas mentors younger actors or approaches a demanding role, he often thinks of Corby, asking himself what honesty and dignity require in that moment. "I loved her," he has said simply. "I respected her." In finally telling this truth, Thomas honors not just a co-star, but a foundational presence in his life. It is a reminder that the most lasting influences are often the quietest ones.